Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the election this week in the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which was the most expensive, the most vitriolic, the most partisan, and maybe the most important state Supreme Court election we have ever seen. Sounds hyperbolic, but let me explain. Okay. Wisconsin, one of six or so really razor edge swing states in the whole country. There was all kinds of focus in the 2022 election on trying to have fake electors and the like. So it's in with Arizona and Georgia and Pennsylvania and the like. It is a divided government in the sense that the governor is Democrat, the legislature is Republican, and even more in the sense that the particular dynamics of the governor and legislature means they're a total loggerheads. They never get things done. It's always a bitter stalemate. Enter the Wisconsin Supreme Court. They have, as it turns out, kind of final authority over so many important issues, starting with, but by no means ending with, abortion. And they are divided. They were a 4-3 court, 7-person court, and a Republican justice retired, leaving a seat open for the bitter battle that ensued between Democrat Janet Protasewicz and Republican Dan Kelly. And this was came to the election on Tuesday, and Protasewicz won a very convincing victory. All right, that's the headline. But to double back a little more, it was the most, without doubt, expensive race in any Supreme Court ever, and that was because it was a huge focus of national Republicans and Democrats. And that is because, there are really scenarios where come 2024, as Wisconsin goes, so goes the United States, so goes Donald Trump, so goes Joe Biden, because a Republican Supreme Court there, as partisan as it is, could be expected to engage in the sorts of shenanigans that Trump, say, wanted in the wake of the 2020 election. And this became the most nakedly, besides the most expensive, the most nakedly partisan Supreme Court election, and a absolute poster child for the terrible policy of having elected judges, because these guys were just completely, when we have Supreme Court nominations in the federal system, we're all used to now to the candidates saying, well, I can't tell you how I would vote in individual cases. That would be not judicial, and it would be as if you're buying my vote. Well, in Wisconsin, the votes were for sale very clearly. Every debate, every commercial, which just flooded the airwaves there, the way it does, say, in November in a presidential election. Protasewicz and Kelly were. Everybody understood 100%. Here's how I'll vote on abortion here, and it's not just abortion. It's pretty much the way Wisconsin works. Every important issue goes to the Supreme Court. So, affirmative action, reapportionment, a really big one. All kinds of equal rights and equal protection. Now, let's start with abortion, because in the Roe v. Wade period, Wisconsin had an abortion law in the books that became defunct. It actually was from 1849. It's a nasty restrictive law. And what happens now, that Roe's been overturned, so there's going to be a total Donnybrook about abortion. Reapportionment or any kind of political election stuff could be huge, and it's just gotten so brass knuckles, nakedly partisan there that everyone's assumption is whatever happens, that is electoral consequences. if Kelly had won, it just would have rolled to the Republicans, and probably with Protasewicz winning, will now roll to the Democrats. Now, the result here, and issue after issue down the line, that's how Wisconsin goes, and how so. But on abortion, the result was really way more one-sided than people expected. Protasewicz wins by some 10, 11 points when it had seemed absolutely a toss-up. That, I think, means that this election goes in the ledger of other recent, the midterm 2022, but the Chicago mayoralty race and others, in which the advantage really seems to be a concrete advantage on the abortion issue that is leaving the Republicans flat-footed, and really is the sort of wages, the unwelcome wages, of the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs overruling Roe versus Wade. It's because now, maybe the MAGA faithful stay with the Republicans, but Trump's or the winning coalition requires suburban Republican women, others, and it looks like they are really being much more on the Democratic ledger since, and that's like a very big dynamic going into the 2024 season. I think Trump himself said this was going to be, a problem for Republicans, and it sure looks like it. So, national focus, because of the way Wisconsin works with the total stalemate in government. Supreme Court comes to the fore. A total, if you're just as a student of government and good sort of judicial policy and elections, a not very happy event of a ultra partisan election, and judges who everyone now will just they'll just look at, are they Democrat or Republican, to say how they're going to vote. The bitterness on the Supreme Court will stay, but it's the victory comes now to the Democrats. It means so much, starting with abortion, and even you name it, come 2024. So the most closely watched Supreme Court election in history, and the most expensive and nasty and vitriolic, goes for the Dems. And the coda here is Dan Kelly, the Republican, gave the most nasty, sort of sore loser, unjudicial concession speech I've ever heard, where he said, I would really like to be able to concede to a worthy adversary, but this one wasn't, and just proceeded to trash Protasewicz all over the place. Just a complete nasty, not how you do it concession speech that really gave a kind of vivid demonstration of the partisan bullet by Republicans that Wisconsin has dodged now. If Kelly were there, he'd absolutely, to all appearances, be a complete hack. And just voting in lockstep for Republicans. So there you go. Wisconsin goes Dems, and it probably the Wisconsin Supreme Court is another indication of the consequences of the Supreme Court's decision, and something that really continues to figure in as we move toward 2024. All right, so we'll see we know probably how the court will be ruling on its big decisions, but how this will, especially the abortion issue, will be, what kind of factor it'll be in the upcoming elections, including the tussle for the Republican nomination will be really interesting to watch. And we'll be watching it. But until then, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.